All right, we are here for a special episode of Fright Night with Ferocious, and we're here talking to Chris Ave and Ron Black, who did Swine and Dine just recently. So go ahead, Fuzzy, do some intros for us.
Well, glad that everybody's going to join us on this pre-recorded podcast, and that we have Ron and Chris here with us tonight. But we're going to do our panel intros first, so that everybody kind of gets a feel for how I guess far left we could go as far as going off the rails beyond horror podcasts and stuff like that. So I'll start with Presto. How you doing? And what have you been up to this past week? Any movies, gaming, anything you've been up to?
I'm not sure when it's going to air, but anyone knows right now, the East Coast has had some like crazy heat wave. So tomorrow should hopefully be the end of like the really hot stuff. In Pennsylvania, it's been like 100 the past 3 days, so that's been cool.
Yeah.
Been kind of chilling. I revisited watching the Hell House movies. I don't know if people are familiar with that.
Yeah, love them.
I don't live. I probably live like 25 minutes from the Hell House place. Uh, so I don't want to say frequently, but I'll go up there and visit it. Right next door to it is called Country Junction. It's the world's largest general store. So uh, there's something to check out if you want to go visit Hell House. And then also in town right there, they have the bar where they also eat at in Hell House. So you do almost like a filming location thing. Other than that, just kind of trying to stay out of this heat and just relax with 4th of July coming up.
Nice, nice. Well, glad you're here with us tonight. B, what have you been up to this past week?
I gotta go next.
Yeah.
Oh, fine, whatever. So we got to see Megan 2.0 last night. So I know a lot of people have, seen the media newsreels since then, but we're gonna talk about it on Friday. Um, don't listen to them. Just make your own choice on whether you want to see it. But we'll talk about more in detail on why I feel the media is putting a damper on them. But besides that, what's coming up next is July 6th. We're gonna go see Hunt Chase Kill in Jersey. I put it up on my Facebook, and I believe I put it also on the Scream episode that we did. So that's up next. So I'll also put the information for Swine and Dine. I already put that up in the Scream one as well. That's coming July 27th, but that's a little ways away. But besides that, pretty much just enjoying summer break.
Okay. Well, for the most part, got to see Megan 2.0 with you as well. I'll hold off talking about it or any spoilers or anything, but the one I really want to get into is 28 Years Later. Got to see that like the week before or like a few days before. Love that it has more of the feel of the first movie, but I'm debating on which one I like more, whether it's the second or the third installment. Still, the first one's going to be king probably for the entire series, but kind of like the direction that they're going leading up to. I guess they got one or two more parts to it coming up, but it was good seeing that. I guess I don't know if I was the only one that heard that they were doing the 19th. I know a lot of people were expecting it for the 20th or on a Friday, but yeah, for the most part, I saw the one commercial and I was like, wait, they said it's today. And Fee was like, no, it's supposed to be tomorrow. I'm like, they just said Thursday. So got to sneak in before the large crowds and stuff, which I always like having kind of the theater to ourselves. But outside of that, just been playing a lot of video games, although nothing horror related. Picked up the Switch 2, doing a little bit of Mario Kart, but still playing a lot of my favorite game, Division 2, which not horror, but it just imagine I guess, the COVID-19 outbreak, but on $1, and then it spreads during the holidays, and it ruined New York, and then spread from there. That's basically what the game was about, even before 2019. I guess the original game came out in 2016, so it's kind of a weird foreshadowing to some extent, although things never got anywhere near as bad as what's in the game. But still enjoying it. They had the Brooklyn DLC. If you're a Division fan or into, not really RPGs, but more so looter shooters, I recommend it, especially seeing how Destiny is kind of stumbling right now. But I'm pretty sure Bungie will get something figured out here soon. But outside of that, Ron, what if,
Yes.
one, welcome to the show, and glad to have you guys on here. We'll start with you. What have you been up to this past week, whether it's movies, music, or gaming, or
All right.
anything in between?
Well, me and Chris, we attended a film festival in Cleveland, Ohio this past weekend from Thursday to Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. We had a film in the room 237 challenge called Subliminal, which we shot in a matter of a couple of hours during a weekday. And we had that in there. It was a pretty decent time. After that, I was on set at Black Sheep up in York, Pennsylvania, and I just got back this morning from that.
Oh wow, nice. Temperatures, I'm assuming, were in the hundreds out there as well.
Yeah,
or
it was. Heat index was over 105.
Ugh, jeez. Well, hope it's cool where you're at now. Chris, what have you been up to this past week? Movie, well, other than some of the same stuff with Ron, but anything else in between?
Not much. So we're also part of a paranormal investigation team. So yesterday I had some of the crew over my house. We're setting up some stuff for interviews with all the cast and crew. That's Astral Paranormal. We're working on some stuff. We're just starting out, so we're working to get there.
Nice.
God bless you. That shit freaks me out.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I'll leave it to you. I'm not looking for any problems. I don't need that.
Yeah, that's what most people say. But so far we haven't come across anything too crazy yet. And we're trying to stay away from the crazy. We're just having fun with it. We got a pretty good team that knows how to work in this arena and do it safely. So we're doing pretty well right now.
Nice. All right. Well, having you guys on here tonight, we definitely got to get into your guys' recent film, Swine and Dine. Now I'm gonna kind of hand off the mic over to Fiona, but yeah, this is going to be an awesome interview for you guys. Looking forward to some of your guys' insight, behind the scenes stuff as well. But I'll let Fiona take the reign right now. Fiona.
So yeah, I just wanted to first go over how we met. So I had gone to what was it? The Grind movie, and I'm out of my comfort zone because I don't know what's going on. I'm supposed to be a production assistant and stuff like that. And lo and behold, I meet Ron. And Ron is a very extroverted person. And he's just giving me all kinds of information. He's telling me what's going on. And he's helping me out and stuff like that. And he told me about Return of the Corn Zombies. Not something that, was too far away from me. But, it was nice to be able to at least, partake in helping them. But then, lo and behold, Crimson Harvest, he's there again. I didn't know he was going to be there. But that's when Fuzzy met Ron, and we were talking and everything. And I'm like, hey, do you mind helping me out with my thing? And he's like, sure, not a problem. And I wrote the script for it, and he read it, and he's like, oh, this is awesome. He's like, this sounds more like PSA. And I'm like, I'll go with it. So, and then I finally met Chris later on at the horror convention. That was right after the shooting, the halfway point for the shooting of Crimson Harvest. So it was really nice to meet everybody, and it was really nice. And we're going to be doing some projects together. But, besides me and Fuzzy meeting you and getting involved and everything, how did you two meet?
You want this one, Chris?
Sure. Our day job, we work for a construction company, and we've been working together for 10 years now. So that's how we met. Um, Initially, just coworkers, nothing crazy, and then we started attending cons together. I told him about Monster Mania. He started, going there with me, or him and his family would go, and we would hang out for most of the time we were there, and then that eventually just escalated into what we pretty much have now, which is a very hectic schedule outside of our day job, working on various projects, movies, and shows, and promo videos. You name it, we're working on it outside of our day job.
But how did you get into the filming part of it?
All right. Over a year ago, I started getting onto. I did the Indiegogo way, and I started getting on the movie sets primarily to help my son because he wanted to start getting into acting, and we got into Pretty Face. Then next we got into Boy from Below, and then it just started one to the next to the next to the next, and I'm watching everybody make film, and I'm learning every set I go to. I'm learning more and more about how it's done and what we're doing. I'm like asking. I ask nonstop questions. Everybody. I'm like, hey, why do you do this? How do you do that? Why do you do this? Where do you go with this? What's this? What's this? What's this? And everyone's so nice. They're just like, oh, this is how this works. This is how this works. And then after about a couple of months doing that, I told Chris, I said, hey, man, we should try doing this for ourselves. We should try making a film. So we wrote a script, and then we went over it again, wrote another one, wrote it again, like 10 times over. And then we talked about it. We're like, hey, you know what? Why don't we make this? We can film this at a con. And one thing led to another. Next thing you know, we're buying cheap camcorders, cheap sound equipment, and we're like using all our friends who didn't even know they were supposed to be in the first movie. They're like, they get to the con and we're like, hey, how'd you guys like to be in a movie? Here's the script. And I don't know, Chris could probably go over the rest.
Yeah, we sort of surprised some of our friends at one of the cons we were at, and we always, when we go, we try to go early, like a day early to a con if we can. And we were there on Thursday, and we're hanging out with our buddies that also show up early, and said, "Hey, why don't we shoot this? What do you guys think? Like, it won't really impact our, the time we're having here. We're gonna try and incorporate the shooting into just the regular time we have here. Nothing too much out of the ordinary." And they were pretty gung ho about it. They were happy. Um, they we included a bunch of different people we didn't really plan to include, and it just worked out really well for us. And we had a blast filming it. I did not so much of a blast editing it because it was choppy, and we didn't know anything about audio and
It was
lighting and
garbage.
all that stuff.
It was garbage.
It was next level trash. So, but from there, we took about 6 months to get it done, and we wrapped it up, and we were able to show it off to all the people at the next con we went to. And from that point is where it sort of escalated. At that point, we're like, at that point, Ron had bought some nicer cameras, and we got a little bit better equipment at that point, and we were able to start shooting some more stuff. We started out with the Flickr series on YouTube, and just sort of springboarded from that, and just kept going and haven't really stopped. Just keep the momentum up and try to hit it all.
So I'm assuming MonsterCon Massacre was filmed, since it's Cherry Hill, was filmed at Monster Mania.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. We didn't get permission for that, but most of it was shot in like on public areas. So I mean, who's really going to complain about it? And not like we're getting a lot of views or making any money off of it. So who cares?
Say that now, you never know.
You know, to be honest with you,
have you seen it? We're not making any money off of that one.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. You always have to start somewhere.
I don't know. You should
That's
send
right.
it to Dave.
Yeah, right.
Send it to Dave. See what he says. He might think it's hilarious. To be honest with you,
He might.
Yeah, he might. Well, I know Doug would.
Doug would be testing us to be in it. He'd be like, "Yo, I want to be in your next one. I want to be in your next one."
No. Probably little Dave too, but yeah, definitely Doug. He'd be down for it. But no,
Tell them
that's
to get you a little vendor booth on the house. You'll be in the next one.
Yeah.
Right.
Give us a little table booth area, free of cost. You get a cameo.
yeah. So for the fans, Dave is it's a family business. So everybody that's actually employed for Monster Mania is the family. They have the grandchildren, they have the children, they have the in-laws, like mom, dad. I met mom at the last one. She doesn't really go and sit with any celebrities, but for that one she sat with Beverly. But the thing was that they have been doing this for 20 so years. Even through the pandemic, they did something. They tried to do something for the fans and everything to have a con and stuff. So they're very much into the con, very much into doing them. And I think it would be interesting if they actually did see it. Can anybody see this one?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube?
It's
Okay.
out there for the world. if you can suffer through it.
I don't know.
The music is great.
What was that?
The music is great. I mean, we put a whole album into that 30-minute short. It's American Grimm.
I'm familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do a lot of New Jersey horror con a lot.
They opened up for I saw them. They opened up for Mushroom Head the one time.
Yeah, they're good.
They're a solid band. I like them.
So yeah, Presto's probably going to be doing the same thing I do with Devil's Carnival, just having it in the background while I'm just doing work or something, just to listen to music.
Yeah, I love my music. It's therapy.
So
that
was your very first one, right?
Correct.
MonsterCon Massacre, and then you did Flicker. So how did we get to the point where we decided to do Swine and Dine?
That was I didn't expect what happened to that. I just figured I got the idea from the Seinfeld episode with the pig man in the hospital, and I thought it was going to be like a little jokey kind of campy horror. And next thing you know, I'm telling people about it. Mark Haynes says I'll do it. Then somebody else, I'm like, oh wow, this is starting to get. I was only going to use friends. Like we were going to shoot this for like under $1,000. And next thing you know, people are like, I want to be in it. I want to be in it. I'm like, you know what? We should try to go whole hog on this. So we launched the Indiegogo, tried to get some funds so we could pay everybody. And I can't believe the response we got. And by that time, me and Chris were pretty much like, we kind of knew what we wanted, and we were a lot better in the production side. So we made sure that this actually looked like a a real movie. Like between doing all the Flickr episodes, we little by little tuned up our knowledge on everything, and by the time we hit Swine and Dine, which was only of November of last year is when we shot that, and we were only doing it at that point for 6 months when we actually rolled cameras on Swine and Dine. So the turnaround between MonsterCon Massacre and Swine and Dine is very short, but if you see the difference in production quality, it's like night and day. It looks like we took a 2-year hiatus and came back, and that's what we got.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and I think that's the passion in doing independent horror compared to putting something out for a profit. Because I've seen some really awful stuff, even though it was a big budget. We can all admit that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what were you thinking? But yeah, with the indie horror, I really like it because there's a passion aspect to it. There's okay, we got to figure out how to do this and get a good result from it. And, also strategically thinking, okay, well, how can we make this great with this amount of money? Now, I know your budget was $2,000. Where, when you thought about that $2,000, what were your key items that you wanted that money to go to?
Oh wow! Our initial budget was 2,000 is what we were asking for, and we knew our budget was going to be higher than that. And me and Chris were more than prepared to throw the money up ourselves. We were trying to pay the actors what we could. We wanted to pay the farm for letting us use the property. We wanted to buy our posters, and I mean transportation for people to come out. We had to pay for a special effects artist. So I mean that was the big cost, and we're like we didn't care. We wanted it to be good, so it was what it was. And then once the donations started pouring in from the Indiegogo, we were like, wow, we never expected this.
So,
Now
anything we've touched on so far that you guys want to ask before we move on?
I was just gonna ask. So I'm a little bit newer to the whole Indiegogo scene. I'd say just recently I started really finding out about it, and I think it's awesome. Like, there's so many movies now that you could just like be a part of, whether it's your name in the credits, whether it's being on set, whether it's being an extra. Like, it's really given people a way to get started in the business without almost knowing someone, or you can do almost part-time if you want and still kind of make your name by this. How do you guys, with this movie, how did you pick what to put on the Indiegogo to like as the perks? Because when I was looking at it, I would say everything on there was really reasonable priced, for like the limb of the foot, the shirt, the teeth, like all that stuff. I was like, wow, that's actually like really reasonable price. As you said, you guys go to conventions, and like you could easily spend that on one person. So like the fact you get like something from the movie is really cool. The one thing I will say I'm a little bummed about, I didn't see on the Indiegogo, is the sign of the pig farm with the 2 pigs on the side. I love that. I'm like, that would be such a cool
still have
post. Oh man, when I saw that, I was just like, that's awesome. Like, that would be such an awesome poster to like get autographed by the cast. Like that was my favorite.
We didn't use it in the movie anywhere, except for the one scene that we had at the office space.
Yes, that's where I saw it, and I really enjoyed that. Was that your own artwork you did with that pig? Did you just Google a pig? Like,
that was AI generated. Yeah.
If you read it carefully, it's misspelled.
Yeah. Good old AI doesn't know how to spell right.
Well, but, that poster is awesome in the movie. Definitely a favorite of mine.
I think the poster's still sitting at work. We could definitely probably get that signed by everybody.
Yeah, that would be.
As far as our Indiegogo, Ron is on Indiegogo all the time. He never stops. And so a lot of that was just us looking at what other people were trying to give away or sell and offer to their fans. And we're just trying to break even on everything. We're not trying to make a ton of money. So if we had to buy something, we're trying to basically recoup our costs for pretty much everything on there. So everything we sold on our Indiegogo or offered on our Indiegogo was basically just trying to cover the cost of that particular item only. The leg and the feet. I don't know if you've attended Monster Mania, then Dave Nagy, Zombie Dave. He's the one that did the foot and the foot and the leg. I just
Okay.
messaged him one day. I said, "Yo, do you have these? Like, I need body parts. What do you have?" And so the cost of that from him was pretty much the cost that we sold it for. It wasn't much different. So parts like that are hard to come by. They're a little pricey. So um, we just try to be fair with everybody. We don't want to rip anybody off. We want people to have the opportunity, but everything is expensive anymore. So we sort of have to play a game there, and we're trying to do things on the cheap side. I was printing a lot of our own T-shirts for different things, and we did order Swine and Dine T-shirts from a website, which is if you've ever ordered T-shirts with a custom image on it, they're not cheap, but as far as the inclusion of actors in the movie, we tried to be reasonable with price, but we also knew that we don't know that it's going to be super successful. But at the end of the day, what we pride ourselves on is when we finish a project, we get it out there for the public, in one way or the other. Too many projects get put on a shelf and never looked at again. We want to make sure ours get out there for everybody. So if you paid to be in it, you're going to see yourself on the screen one day, whether it's your own screen or not. You'll definitely see it.
Nice.
I appreciate that too, because there are times you might pay to be an extra or something and it gets cut, or you're promised a perk and it doesn't happen, or it gets delayed. And yeah, just looking at the perks you guys have, they're all great. I mean, there's still some good ones left that you could get. As far as I know, the screen worn shirt by Mark is still up there.
Yeah.
The posters, and then I even like how you have a rescued animal help feed the animals. That's also really cool.
Yeah, I like the ones where it's like feed the cast.
Yeah.
I said we were trying to get money. We were trying to get money for like whatever we were trying to get. That money went to where it was supposed to go. Like all the money for the cast went to pay for food for the cast, the crafty and all that. We gave whatever we had got for the feed the animals. We gave that and then some because we got so much. Like the donation was hot. Like we didn't want to skip on anything. We gave all the actors more than we promised them, so we just made sure that everybody was taken care of.
Nice.
And that's a great way to build relationships also for the future with people. You get your word out, these guys take care of you,
Mm-hmm.
So I respect that with you too.
So I remember, I think there's been only one campaign that I actually didn't get a perk from. I'm not gonna name it, but I didn't even get, so sometimes it's like, okay, it's not gonna get filmed or whatever, that's fine, but at least throw my name up there. You know what I'm saying? Just throw it up there as I was supposed to be a cast member, or I was supposed to be the producer. And I think that's enough for some people. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't get to actually do the filming part or whatever. But I think that's where the disappointment comes in. It's like, well, I sent you in a donation, because that's what I call it. Sent you in a donation to help you out, and you basically ignored me. And I think that's what some people might be thinking. It's like, okay, I understand you couldn't do it because of X, Y, and Z, but at least put up that I contributed. You know what I'm saying? That I was looking out for you and stuff like that, so that you can get your name out for other people. Because the thing about Indiegogo that I do not like is that it's really hard to find the projects. You hear about a project. If I hadn't known Ron, I wouldn't have even known about Swine and Dine because it never came up when I put in her in the search bar. So I don't think their search is the best. And I think you have to know what's going on in Facebook or Instagram or catch it in order to know that. And if you don't have a lot of horror people up there or a lot of comedy people, they're not going to generate that for you, that listing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing I don't like about the social media and stuff like that. So how do you guys do that part to make sure your audience gets it, not just your friends?
I generally, like I said, I learned from when I was helping Mike Levy out promote Stream. I try to put everything out other than friends. I try to go public as much as possible, hoping the algorithm catches it. But like I said, it's pretty much when we ran the Indiegogo, it was pretty much word of mouth. Like we had just had everybody, all of our friends going, "I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this." And every little dollar helps. But we didn't care if they gave us $5 or $100. It was like whatever they gave us, we gave them whatever their perk was entitled, we gave it to them like as soon as possible. And I think that's what separates a lot of people is they promise perks and then it takes forever to get them. And we like to, like, if you do something for us, we want to make sure that you get recognized for it. So everything we can possibly do to help you out. And I've learned a lot through Indiegogo from people like Jason Horton, Abel Berry, Chase Dudley, the Mahal brothers. They're the pioneers of Indiegogo and crowdfunding. And I talk to them as much as I possibly can and get insight from everybody just to realize how Indiegogo works and how to launch a decent campaign.
Yeah, because some of them, I'll just throw it out there. I did the one that was where I was a vampire. I did not know it was going to be that extensive when I went and signed up for it. I did not know I was going to be in full makeup or anything like that.
What's wrong, Wendy?
Yeah, I did not know.
I love Spooky Madison.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that she instantly put my name up.
She's good. I've worked with her on just about all her projects except for this one, and she's, like I said, I would do anything for her if I had a chance to. I would.
Yeah. But there was one guy that didn't show up, and she left his name up there. She's like, "You're getting credit whether you showed up or not." I think that is commendable. And Dusty, oh, she was awesome. Dusty the director was totally awesome.
I have not met Dusty Austin yet.
Mm-hmm. And Cody, I got to meet Cody and stuff like that. You've worked.
Oh
with
yeah,
Cody.
I just got finished working with Cody on Black Sheep.
Yeah. So I'm getting to, you get your name when you get to do these projects and everything, and you meeting these people. You have some of the best people, working with strangers basically, and the independent filmmakers, they just bring you in. So what have been some of your stories about some of your greatest moments that you feel that you've had working on some of the other shoots?
Oh man, it's just like you said, it's the people. We've met so many different people doing what we're doing, and it's each one we meet automatically becomes a friend. Pretty much what we're calling part of our Black Ave family. Like it's even if you're in one scene of one thing, it's like automatic. It's like everybody just is so cohesive with everybody, and it's like one big giant family. I mean, Chris, chime in.
Yeah, I would say the biggest project for us, to help us jumpstart where we're at now, would probably be on the set of Amityville Barbie, where we got to meet Mark Sorrow, Jessica Jett, Alex Surface, and a few other people there that they have been a huge help for us to get where we are. Mark, Jess, Alex, they all have worked on a bunch of our stuff. Alex has helped us on a bunch of flickers. She was there for Swine and Dine. Mark and Jess, they were there for Swine and Dine as well. And now all of us are all teamed up together for this astral paranormal thing we're doing. As well as, we traveled to Cleveland this past weekend with Mark and Jess because they had a music video in the festival. So we're definitely tying in very tight with them. They do some really cool stuff. They're involved in so many different projects and so many different people, from the most independent budgets up to some pretty hefty budgets. So it's great getting to see what they're able to do and what they're offering. We're learning things from them as we go, and it's great working with these people. And it's also great, we had people on our set for Swine and Dine that we had never met before in person, and having them on there built friendships for us too. That, who knows where we would have met these people and hung out with them before. So I think every time we step foot on set, we're like, all right, let's see who we can figure out here. Who can we meet? Who can we get along with? And who can we try to develop a good independent filmmaking relationship with?
I haven't been on one set so far where I haven't walked away with friends when I left. Like everybody from the top tier stars all the way on down to the bottom.
That's awesome. That's actually how I met Fuzz and Fee. They did Queens of the Dead. It's a movie that just, I guess, premiered in New York, and we went to be extras. Was that last summer in Patterson, New Jersey?
Yeah.
And we met on set, and since then been hanging out and starting this pod up, and it's really cool how you meet people and connect with them and form relationships.
Definitely.
So you say Swine and Dine, you've done the flicker, this one compared to your other stuff. When you talked about writing this and everything, when you got on set the first day, what was that like? Because you're meeting new people, right? At that time, was there anything new?
Yeah, we met Fred Scrimmage, which he's now part of the family. Like I talk to him all the time. He's actually making some 3D printed graphic tabletop. What would you call them? Plaques for us. Just for doing it. Like he doesn't want to get paid for it. He's like, here, these are for you guys. We already know Ilson. We met Brandon James Lee. We met Chris Geyser. Like I said, it's just something people just show up, and next thing you know, it's like they leave. Actually, they don't even want to leave. They're so happy to be working with us that they're like, oh man, I don't want to go. I just want to stay here working with you guys. Which I feel every time I go to a set, I never want to leave.
Yeah, I get that same feeling. So did anything happen that day, that first day? Did anything happen that was, out of the ordinary or unscheduled or what?
Everything.
Yes, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, pretty much.
We had to stop. We had to stop production like 3 hours early because it was raining. So, granted, it hasn't rained in New Jersey at that point for 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the day that we're shooting this, we get a torrential downpour that started at like 8 o'clock at night, and it was hitting the roof so hard that the sound equipment was picking it up, and we couldn't get good sound. So we tried a little bit, and then we just called it a night. So we stopped like 3 hours early.
I mean, just starting out that day, Ron was running behind because he had to go pick up an RV. We needed something on set for people to chill out in because it's November. It's cold out. The farm itself, they've just got some porta potties outside for people to use. So we needed a bathroom. We needed somewhere to do makeup. and I believe you were running. I don't, maybe not too late, but that was an issue trying to get that figured out on the lot, setting up the. I mean, we got there pretty early, and we started setting up the whole barn for the scenes that we wanted. No major issues with
We
that.
started that on. We started that early. Like you, me, and Montavious were there like dead early on the shooting day.
Yeah. So not too many issues with any of that. Setup was easy. Yeah, the people running the farm, Jamie there, he was great. We had just the FYI, that is a vegan farm. It is a rescue farm. So one of the things in the pre-planning, we mentioned to him, like, all right, just so you know, we got to feed these people. We're not vegan, but if you want us to remain vegan while on set, we can. And that was something that they did request of us. So, we had to plan accordingly. Like, all right, what kind of snacks can we bring that are vegan? What kind of dinner can we feed everybody that's going to be vegan? So that was, another hurdle you had to throw in there, but we managed to get that done. But Jamie wound up cooking us burgers the first night on the grill outside. We had no idea. He didn't say anything until we got there. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to make burgers." We're like, "What? You don't have to do that." He's like, "No, I got you." Some of the nicest people at that farm. It's so good to be in partnership with them for this. It was awesome. The other issue is obviously the rain. It destroyed one of our tents that we had outside. We wound up leaving one of our lenses got lost in the mud outside. We didn't find that till the next day. So we had a couple hiccups there with that first day. Nothing we couldn't get around though.
Yeah, those lenses are really expensive. They cost more than the cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you're doing this, as you're doing the filming and everything like that, and what did you see evolve out of this?
What do you mean 5?
Just anything. It could be your relationships. It could be something that you put on screen that you wasn't even in the script.
Oh, look, I'll write a script. What generally happens is I'll write a script, and then me and Chris will go over the script, and we'll change this and that. But by the time we actually get to set and have the actors go over everything, we give them control to say whatever they think will fit the part for them. And Mark Haynes, who plays the Hampton, he was off the fly. Like he was just he was reading his lines, and if he didn't like what he heard from the other person, it was like everybody was feeding off of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of the script probably was like pushed to the side, and I just let everybody use their own takes on their characters.
So I know Ron was there and Chris wasn't, but how did that compare to when you were on Crimson Harvest?
Oh man, I mean, I get things change, but it's Crimson Harvest was it was a great experience, but things were how can I say this? We were changing things like at that point, like, oh, we gotta change this or change this around. Me and Mark kind of improvised some of our lines on that, and Xander was like, yeah, that's fine, that sounds good, that sounds good. But it's like when you're running late on time and you only have so much time to get things done, some things will get omitted. I mean, we did omit some things in Swine and Dine that nobody knows about. There was a whole like scene from after the foot scene up to the head scene. There was supposed to be a lot more blood and dissection. We were running so behind that we had to kind of skip that out. And it happens at every movie set. Believe it or not, you'll never know most of the time, but most of the movie sets, if they're running behind, they're going to have to cut scenes.
Yeah.
And it happened. and it's unfortunate, but you have to like cut the little scene to make sure that the movie gets finished correctly and on time and on budget.
Now, was there any scenes that it just felt like a gut punch that you had to, condense them, or that you had to just cut it out? Was there anything?
Chris,
Probably what Ron was talking about, the scene between the foot and the head part. We really had to condense that. We were just running out of time. And that's probably one of the biggest ones that may have messed with the flow of the final product. Outside of that, I think everything else was pretty solid. Maybe maybe a couple other things. Had we had another day, there's some more stuff I would like to have shot just for filler. But overall, for a 2-day shoot, pretty much our first time ever running a shoot of that caliber. I mean, I couldn't be happier with what we got.
I mean, I've let people see it, and I haven't had a complaint about anything yet. I mean, most of them are my friends, but still, it's. I mean, you watched it, Fi. What did you think? What was your take?
So let's talk about Swine and Dine now. I mean, you got some lead up here. What did y'all think?
I just had one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Before I was going to ask, so you wrote this as a short going into this, but then once you guys were getting a lot more funding than you expected, at any point did you think like, hey, maybe we should make this into like a full action movie, or were you just like, no, this is better now? Could even put like more money into the short that we weren't planning on?
For this one, I mean, I would have loved to have done a full length, but I know we were short on time and money for this, and we were. I hate to say this, we were a little unsure that how good we could make this. I mean, like I said, this has only been us into it for 6 months, so we had no idea how the final product would look after it was edited and cut together. And once it was like everybody was saying the same thing. We need a full length. This has to be a full length. I want to know more about the characters. I want to know more about this. It's got to be. You got to take this to the next level. I'm like, definitely. I mean, after I watch it like 10 times, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely going to be drawn out to an hour and a half, 2-hour film. So I'm in the process of writing that right now.
I mean, it's great because, like you said, you could tell a story about Hampton, like how he became how he is. Was he always like that? Spoiler at the end, you get introduced to a new character, so you could even talk about that movie, like that story there, like the way you guys left it. It felt complete, but also you could take it in a bunch of different ways. Like if you wanted to, a prequel, a sequel, both at the same time. Like the possibilities are really endless, I feel.
I appreciate that. Like I said, we wanted to try to make it so that there was like I said, I didn't put any of the origin stories of Hammy in there. I wanted to see how the character went over first before I did that. Now that I know the full length, will have the feature will have a origin story of how he became this creature. And like I said, the way that I've got this one written, it's going to be a little more action packed. It's going to be a lot of carnage. So I hope everybody's ready for what's about to happen. Once they see the short, everyone's going to be like, I want to see jaws drop when they see what happens.
So
I mean, I really enjoyed the makeup on Hammy. I know we talked before this came on. Hammy has nipples. It was a great. I appreciate that. The makeup, it didn't look. It really didn't look cheesy or anything like. And then how you shot it with like the different light colors. Like at times, like, oh man, that looks so cool. Oh, that looks even more badass. Like it almost kept evolving without actually changing at all. I felt with how you would shoot different angles and see more of his face, and it was like, wow, like it's just not a nose. There's so much more to it than that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of depth to the effects that we have on him.
How long did makeup take for him?
Kevin did. I bought, believe it or not, I bought the prosthetic from Amazon, and I kind of made it my own. I cut things off, and I added color to it and definition to it. And then when we got Kevin on set, he just put it on and made it the best it could look. Blended it into Mark's skin with the airbrush, and I couldn't have been happier the way it looked.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm a sucker for collectibles, movie memorabilia, all types of stuff like that. So, like we said before with the Indiegogo, like this is a great opportunity to get stuff from a movie you were part of that you could display. Is there anything from set that you guys kept?
I've got the pig face.
I don't think I kept anything from set, honestly.
I've got the pig face, and I've got the knife that it was made by a friend of ours, Paul Sutt, who's doing Hunt Chase Kill next
Mhm.
weekend.
Yes.
He forged that specifically for us.
Okay, so that's cool. One-on-one kind of thing. I appreciate that.
Chris, you said you still had the sign.
What's that? Oh yeah, yeah, I have that.
You wanted that pig nose.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we have.
And I've got the final, Junior's Scarecrow pig mask.
Okay.
Was
Now,
that
who
a
was Junior?
custom-made mask, or was that one
I
you
got that
bought
from
and
Spirit
modified?
Halloween. Yeah, I got that from Spirit Halloween.
So wait a minute, who was Junior? Because I didn't see a listing for Junior.
Chris?
You couldn't tell? That was. Some people have watched it and they went, "That was Ron, wasn't it?" I'm like, "Yep, that was Ron." and all the credit to Ron for putting himself through that, because it was very cold. It was like one of the last shots we did,
Mm-hmm.
and he jumped off that fence like a trooper, even though I'm sure it hurt him. But yeah, he did that for the movie.
Nice.
I wanted that superhero landing.
Yeah. Yeah. How was so that's another thing, because it was in November, and I know it wasn't as cold, but it's just all of this weather has been discombobulated. I remember we used to have a lot of snow during January, February time, not so much in December, but now I've seen snow as late as April in my area. So how cold was it? Because I remember on Crimson Harvest, I had to put 2 sweatshirts on because it was that.
It was, that first night was cold. It was cold.
So the farm we were shooting at, their barn is also, they have a specific room in there that they keep tropical animals. So snakes, tortoises,
Mhm.
Different parrots and stuff. It's super warm in there. It's like, at the top, it's probably like 80 degrees in there. And so it was so cold out that most of the people were running in there every chance they got. We're like, where's Montavious? Oh, he's in there. Where's Kevin? Oh, he's in there. Where's
It
Mark?
was an
He's in there.
easy 30 degrees in that barn.
Wow.
It was very, very cold.
And the funny thing is that the day before, during the day, it was in the upper 60s.
Yep.
So this is kind of like a Florida type situation, because I remember in basic, when I went to basic, it would be so hot during the daytime, but at night you had to make sure you had a few blankets on you. It was that bad.
It was brutal. It was really brutal.
Mark Keynes was sick, and he was a trooper for being half dressed the whole movie. And You could see in his like every time he got a chance, he ran to the camper and took a nap.
Mm.
I don't blame him.
That guy's huge. He's
But
ripped.
I don't know. I think he probably appreciated you guys having vegan food because I remember that was a problem on Crimson Harvest. He came in, he's like, "Yeah, but I don't eat that stuff." So I know we had another thing with somebody had an allergy to garlic. So how did you guys deal with how you guys dealt with that as far as collecting information to make sure that when you're feeding somebody you have food for them?
A lot of messages.
We asked everybody, like, do you have any food allergies? Are you okay with this kind of food? Are you okay with this kind of food? So it was actually we pre-planned everything. We tried to pre-plan as much as possible. Like me and Chris, like our offices are right across from each other, and I'll spend like most of my time in Chris's office, and we'll just go over shots. We'll go over set list. We'll go over everything we can, and we're so meticulous that we'll do shot like how he's going to film it, and I'm going to tell the people where to go, and we just kind of like click. That's what makes I guess what we do so much better because we have spent so much time together that we go through everything.
Yeah. So what was besides the whole allergy thing or besides the whole food thing, what were other things that you learned that you had to ask somebody and kind of pre-plan on with the cast?
Uh, Chris, uh,
Um,
if
I mean,
they're how comfortable they are on camera doing dialogue.
we touched on a lot of stuff pre-planning. We did a couple Zoom table reads
Mhm.
to make sure everybody understood the script and all. I mean, we didn't have too much that we weren't prepared for.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, you can only do so much about the weather, but
Mhm.
everything else we were pretty well prepared for. Not too many curveballs that we didn't expect. So lighting is always a brutal thing with the
Mhm.
because we filmed some shots out on the road in the car and stuff, and we just kept losing light. We're like, all right, we got to rush through this because we're losing daylight, and that's probably our biggest battle for shooting outside stuff. Be like right at dusk. It's like we just got to get this done, roll through it, get it over with. Because we didn't want to keep a lot of people there. We had already had a bunch of people show up, and we're like, all right, you're just going to be in one scene, and there they are 6 hours later. Like, when's my scene happening? I'm like, we're getting to it. We'll get you there. Uh, so we just wanted to make sure everybody was having as good a time as possible, and it was good for everybody there to sort of hang out, get to know each other, communicate with other people, ask about different projects. I mean, we had a whole variety of people on set with us, so it was good for. I think everybody had a good time.
I mean, I didn't hear any complaints except for the weather.
Yeah.
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 Just a quick question. As far as like the preparedness, would you say that it's something more drawn from like your guys' line of work, outside of movies, or just your personal, work ethic, or is it also a mixture of things you've kind of picked up from working with others on their movies, or things along those lines, or movies you may have been a part of or involved in?
It's definitely being on other sets and seeing what works and what doesn't. Like I said, we want to make sure that we don't want to waste time having to plan everything when we get to set. We try to go over everything where the shot's going to be. Like we in our heads, we already have everything. Then we talk it over to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah, definitely other people's sets. We've been on at that point we had been on a few sets. We saw what worked, what didn't work, where there was arguments on set or disagreements, and so we were like, we don't want that to happen here. We don't have time for that. So let's try and work through those things now, make sure they're out of the way, and this way we're a little bit smoother than what we've seen elsewhere. Not, I mean, everybody's going to go through things. We had our own stuff that was going on, nothing crazy, but you got to work through it all, and the true testament is how well you pick back up from wherever that failure is, how quickly you get back into it and get back on track.
So, I know I have, my line of work is being a teacher, so there's always conflict somewhere. But I've seen some little things on specific sets and everything. But what I guess I'm more interested, because this is really a female thing, because I heard some of the horror stories from some of the female cast over a couple of different sets that I've been on. And I know in Crimson Harvest there were a lot of stories, when it comes to female actresses and stuff like that. And the problems that they kind of deal with. So I know that Kelsey had come on to Grind, as kind of in the second wave, because of another actress not being able to be on set. So she replaced another actress and everything. And I know that you've worked with her, and I know she's kind of experienced some stuff because she's been in a few other things and everything. When you're dealing with a female actress that's been on other sets and she's new to you, what are some of the things that they've been upfront with you about, or what are some of the things that you've asked them to make sure that they feel comfortable on set?
Like I said, on set of Swine and Dine, we kind of talked to Kelsey ahead of time and asked her what she was comfortable with. Plus, the fact that we met her on Grind and Kelly Marks was a part of the production team. She was friends with Kelsey, so we kind of like had that good go-to, and then we told Kelly what we were looking for. Kelly talked to Kelsey, and Kelsey was like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool with all this." He goes, "What are you good with, and what aren't you good with?" And pretty much Kelsey was like, "Whatever you throw at me, I'm cool with." Because if I don't like it, I'll just let you guys know ahead of time. But the rest of our female actresses, like I said, we just treat them with respect, and whatever. If they say they don't want to do something, we just say, "Okay, we'll figure something else out," which we really haven't had a problem with. Everyone's been real like, "Well, this is how we're going to do this." Anyone got a problem with that? Nope. Cool. You don't mind? You don't mind this? Nope. What do you think, Chris?
Uh, and it wasn't an issue. The only thing that even comes to mind for me is um, we had to try and replicate Kelsey's feet for a shot on the prosthetic foot. So I was like, "Are you comfortable with us taking a picture of your feet?" But outside of that, that was the only thing. And she was like, "Oh no, it's fine, totally fine," because we just wanted to make sure like toenails matched up and some of the tone for the shots were going to match up to her regular feet. But yeah, that was the closest thing we even had to come anywhere near that I felt would be a potential problem for a female on our set. And she was, Kelsey, everybody on our set was,
Mm-hmm.
they were there as some of the best, most professional people we could have had on set.
Mm-hmm. So I know Kelly as well, and I know she recently experienced something that you guys weren't a part of or anything. So, but what do you tell actresses that have or are in the middle of experience something that make them feel uncomfortable?
Probably just, be upfront with us, talk it over with us. We're human too. We can understand where you're coming from, to a degree, and we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. If
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be uncomfortable, we're going to be just as uncomfortable. So just be upfront with us. Don't hide it from us. Let us know. We want to try and resolve situations like that before it gets to a point where you might want to break down or anything, or have a bad reaction to being, working with us. We don't want that. We want everybody to want to come back to another shoot with us if we're allowed to bring them back. We don't want anybody to feel like they would not want to come back.
Yeah, because I think it's important for females to hear that during the interviews that I have with you guys, because I heard a lot of horror stories, and it just was opposite of what I had experienced, and everything. So, but they do more of the stuff than I do. So, I think having it out there, and then hearing a genuine response, will help in the future for, doing Indiegogos and things like that, because as we talked about, Indiegogo could be hit or miss for you, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, because I've heard so many people to stay away from, and I've heard so many people to work with in this process. And you guys, I know, have sent out, I know Ron has, he sent out several things, like the one, what is it called, How to Rob a Bank, which is actually filming all through now till August. And that's a big budget film. That's, Nicholas Holt's in that one and everything. So, knowing knowing how to navigate beforehand, I think is, very important, especially if, we're getting opportunities to do bigger things, even if it's just background stuff.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
We see you now. So, yeah, let's get back to the movie. I think Fuzzy wants to give his review.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask in relation to the movie, before we get into the storyline itself, like for some of the more humorous or comedic moments, like there's one that just clearly stands out to me about the little piggy to market thing. Are those like moments like that? Are they scripted, or like you said, is it where they may have like improvised, like the cast themselves felt comfortable and it just worked, and that was what made it to the final cut? What
That was
how are
scripted.
those balanced?
The piggies was scripted. The second one Michelle takes care of was not. That was a on the fly decision by her.
Okay,
I'm Montavious Parker.
nice.
And if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think females tend to be more brutal in horror films sometimes.
Like I said, Michelle, she pulled off, like, her performance was stellar. I mean, when I gave her the role, I wasn't expecting what I got, and I couldn't have been more proud of her.
Yeah.
She killed. I mean, if people watch this, they're going to see that the people we have that really don't get credit for their performances in other movies, they need to take heed what these people can really do.
Yeah, all the cast came across believable. Like for in the moment, going from about a business call, visit this farm, and then you wake up handcuffed, and they all delivered as far as what kind of like what you would expect people, or how they would react to certain scenarios and whatnot, especially after the one guy got his head knocked off type of deal. But I just wanted to see as far as like what moments may have been like improvised or scripted. But that I like that particular part. That's like the standout part for me. I mean, outside of the great makeup and stuff like that, but that from a comedic standpoint, that was like a nice break. But like, you probably shouldn't laugh because people getting things cut off. But it was nice.
There was a scene where Mark he responded, "Moi, psycho, moi." That was not
He's
scripted.
like,
That
you
was
calling a psycho to moi?
Yeah.
yeah, that was all him, and we were dying on set. We were just like, "Oh my goodness, that's so." His delivery and everything about it, his tone, the body language he did. We were just like, we were jumping for joy. We're just like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so cool."
I mean, if you actually watch it and you can see Mark like take that stature when he goes moi and stick his head up and put his hand over his like moi. You call a psycho to moi? It's like perfect. It was so perfectly timed.
Like he
Yeah.
was doing Shakespeare or something.
Well, it's good to see. Like, I saw him in stream, and obviously he doesn't talk. He's just wears the mask. So to see him actually act and see he could act was neat. Like, not just
Yeah.
some big muscle guy. It's like, yo, this guy could act too.
Which is that I mean, when I offered this part to him and he read it, he was like, wow, I actually have lines. I'm like, yeah, a lot of he's like, I'm the main character. Yep. And he was like, I'm in.
Yeah, I feel like most of the movies would be like, all right, don't really talk. You're the big dude. You just rough people up and don't really speak. Where here it's like, yeah, you rough people up, but you got to speak too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was probably so happy.
Oh, he's the one. He's like, we got to make a feature. We got to make a feature. Let's do this. Let's do the feature. I'm in. I'm so in.
Now you got to break the news. He's not going to be part of it.
No.
So in the opening scene, right, you see them running and stuff like that. Did any of them trip?
No, they were good.
So where was that shot? Was
That
there
was in front. That was shot right in front of the farm.
okay, so it's pretty wooded around that area and stuff like that.
They own what was it like 15 acres, 20 acres?
Something like that.
Yeah, the
Wow.
whole back of the farm is all wooded, and that's where we shot that.
So you had a location that pretty much had everything for you.
Yes.
As you keep telling me about this farm and stuff, I just picture like the movie X. Like you guys show up with a film crew, and there's that like old guy that lives on the farm that really doesn't know what you're shooting. You tell him you're shooting a movie, then he finds out it's a horror movie, and it's like weird shit happens. Then
So the farm there, they're a rescue farm, and I've had chickens in the past. I had to get rid of a rooster because of town ordinances, and so I had contacted them. I dropped the rooster off at their farm years ago, and when me and Ron were trying to like come up with a location to shoot this, we're like, well, it'd be great if we could find a farm that actually has pigs that we could use for B-roll and all. And we went over tons of farms on like Google Maps and stuff like that, and Peerspace and different websites you could rent locations from. And we eventually, it just clicked in my head. I was like, oh crap, I know a farm. Let's reach out to them. So we reached out to the farm, and they were like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And we're like, well, what do you want? And they're like, nothing, just go ahead and film. And we're like, really? Like, no, we're not going to do that. We're definitely going to give you something. And so that's when we came up with the idea to make sure that they got a cut on Indiegogo, like whatever their cut was that was earned on Indiegogo. Even though Indiegogo takes a cut out of all the cash we raise, it winds up being like 10% of all the dollars. We matched 100% of whatever was raised for them. We made sure they got 100% of that and some. And obviously, we also, if you're interested in going to the farm, Freedom Farm Animal Rescue in Cedarville, New Jersey, every Saturday they have events there, from like 10 to 2, I think. And you can go there, buy food to feed the different animals. They've got goats, cows, emus, pigs, chickens, ducks, turkeys. They've got cats, horses, dogs, donkeys. They've got pretty much every animal you could imagine to be on a farm, and you're pretty much allowed to walk all over the farm and interact with animals if they're willing to interact with you. And it's a really cool farm to do that stuff at. So, if you ever have a Saturday free, if you want to make a long journey down to Cedarville, it's definitely worth checking out.
Now, at any point when you were filming this movie and then you pretty much had access to the whole farm, did you think about rewriting the script at all? And like, oh, maybe we can incorporate some of these animals, or maybe, or were you pretty focused on the script? Like, all right, this is a story we want to tell. Like, it's cool, everything else is here, but we don't want to use it for this one.
We weren't looking at changing the script. What we were doing is looking at like, wow, it would be cool to use this for this or use this for this, because there was so much stuff on that farm that was like worthy. Where when we were talking to Jamie, the owner of the farm, and he told us, he's like, you guys can film anything you want on this farm forever. As long as we're here, you can use this farm to film whatever you want. And of course, the light bulb went off in my head, and I'm like, wow, 20 acres of wooded property. I can see a bunch of slasher films being made here.
It's like your perfect setup.
Yeah.
At your disposal, whatever you want.
Yep.
But like I said, they're the best people in the world. That's why, like, every time they share something, me and Chris try to like do whatever we can to help them out.
Nice.
Yeah. They're constantly asking for money because in the wintertime, they have to buy tons of hay for all the animals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're asking for money for that. They're a nonprofit. So every chance I get, anytime they post something, they had a cat recently that needed surgery, needed its leg amputated after a real bad infection. I donate money every chance I get to them.
That's an awesome cause. Yeah.
So, now it's a short film, and I'm sure you would expand on the amount of deaths. But did you feel that was enough deaths in the movie, or were you trying to go for one more?
There's never enough deaths in a movie. I wanted 10. Me and Chris talked about that. Like, dude, the movie's only like going to be like less than 30 minutes. We can't fit that much blood. Because trust me, we tried on Monster Massacre. We had, oh my God, we originally had 10 kills in like 15 minutes. And we're like, yeah, we can't. Like, it's too hard to do. Granted, the effects in that movie were horrible, but to get them to look realistic, we took the time to say we'll have less kills and make them look more realistic than just throwing blood on somebody. Like, we wanted to actually see blood coming out of somebody.
So the feet scene, that went right through me. So I used to watch all types of crazy horror shit. I'm a machinist by trade. I make conveyor systems now for a living. And about 10 years ago, I had an accident where machine jammed. I tried letting it go. I tried unjamming it, and I lost part of my fingertip. It sheared right off in the machine. I had a glove on. I didn't realize what happened. I was like, ooh, that hurt. And then I looked, and the glove was missing a part. And I was like, I saw white, and I was like, oh, my nail's so jacked up. And then I took the glove off, and I was like, oh, fuck, my fingertip's missing. So, I went into shock, and they found my fingertip in the machine. I'm, in the ambulance going to the hospital, and it's the guy is holding my finger on ice, and I graduate a little bit. He's like, oh, how have you been? It's like, you're holding my fucking fingertip, man. What do you think's happening? So they reattached it. I had it on for a month. It just turned black, so they had to amputate it again. So anything with fingers or toes, because your fingers and toes have the most nerves in them out of anything in your body. So think about when you get a paper cut or anything, it's so painful. So when I saw that scene with the toes, I closed my eyes a little because it was oh, I know exactly how this feels. Okay, maybe to get bitten off or something, but I know this feeling. You guys were able to capture the feeling and bring me back to that moment where I was like, dude, I'd rather just get stabbed, decapitated, like anything than get my fingers or toes fucked with. So when that first toe happened, I was just like, oh man, like so when you were talking about like, oh, we would have did more blood in between if we had more time, I was like, that probably would have been so much nicer for me to watch whatever they were gonna do next instead of that part. Cause then then when she like opens her mouth, I'm just like, oh my goodness, like damn, they're taking it to this level. Here we go. Like
Yeah,
I don't
originally in the real script, we were supposed to cut the toes off, and then move up to her thigh, cut a slice out of her thigh like bacon, and then move up to her abdomen and slice her abdomen open. And as she's gargling, that's when we go to the top and take care of the head.
okay, that would have been interesting for sure. Instead, you decided to focus on the toes more. Boy.
I'm not gonna lie. The second we saw like how the toes went down, we were so happy that like we caught that look, and it was so cinematic that we were like jumping for joy that we totally forgot about the rest of the script. We went from that to the head. I'm like, oh crap, we missed like a whole 3 scenes.
I had to like when it happened, I was like, ooh, her feet are ugly. And then when it happened, I was like, ooh boy, that's okay. Yeah. I feel like I don't want to say it was mild up until then, but like that's the scene that really stood out for me. That was like the main scene. I appreciated the little like the one guy you had hanging upside down with the apple in his mouth, kind of like they do with pigs, and then they slit his throat and let the blood drain out, which I know they do unfortunately to pigs nowadays to like kill them and stuff. So I was just like, okay, like that might have been very subtle, but like some people pick up on that stuff. And like I appreciated that what humans do to pigs, you flipped the table kind of and had Hammy, is that his Hammy due to the humans. It was like almost payback. And I was like, okay, this is like, do we feel bad for Hammy or is this just revenge? Like, so I like that part of it too, because I was like, I don't really hate the guy. Like I'm not like rooting for him to die. I understand them. Like nothing wrong happened. This guy came to the farm looking to buy more pigs, like kind of, you know, only worried about himself. They let him in. Like she at first kind of like warned him, was like, hey, you know what? Like we're not really looking to do this. And it was like, well, let me talk to your husband. And it was like, okay, like you want to talk to my husband? Let's do this. And it didn't work out for her, obviously, but I appreciated the storytelling there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like I said, all I want is people to enjoy what we bring to them. And like I said, from what I heard, like everybody loves the story. The way that the story is set up, it's something that's not really out there right now. It's so original. It's not like somebody wearing a pig mask or a mask. It's an actual like prosthetic that makes them look like they're a part of a pig. So I think the way I see it is, as long as people walk into it and then walk out and go, wow, that was entertaining. That's all I really care about.
Well, and it was it's like 22 minutes, 24 minutes,
Yeah,
like
21 minutes.
Super short. So obviously we had technical difficulties last week, but up until then, I was just like my week was crazy busy. And I was like, I don't know when I'm going to watch this. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch this at lunch at work. Like it's 20. I have an hour. I can watch this. And like, I watched it and I was just like, oh wow. Like I know 23 minutes isn't a long time, but it just kind of like flowed nicely where I have ADHD bad, so I lose attention fast. So I'm like, you know, squirrel walks by, I'm like, ooh, look at that. Where I wasn't like moving my mouse to like see, okay, how much longer? Like it gave you, the story was enough that it left me satisfied, but there was still so much more story building you could do with the characters that it's like, okay, yeah, I do want more. And that's good because if when the time comes and you make another one or a full length feature, like the buzz will be there already.
Well, I mean, we did have a little bit of character development in reference to, the victims. I mean, you did see that they were trying to sneak on. You saw a couple of the guys trying to sneak on, even though it was like, don't go to this farm. It's not in your best interest. But of course, human nature, right? And then with Kelsey's character, um, you know, she goes and you can see she's a big jerk because, she just got on the road without even thinking about the car that was on the same path.
Yeah.
And the way she was talking to Todd's character was just straight up mean. But she's like, wait a minute, don't tell him exactly that. So she had a fear for her boss. So I mean, it was the little details that you saw in that 20 some minutes.
I mean, she had it coming in the beginning when she's driving the car and pulls over to talk, and that generous guy was just like, hey, do you need any help? And she's just like, this guy thinks just because I'm a girl, like, I need help. And it's like, okay, this is what this character is going to be. Okay, I hope she does get axed or
Perfect.
gets taken off.
See, we wanted the roles reversed. We wanted like her to be the hated person and for Hammy to be the anti-hero. Like, oh man, we all cheer for this guy. He came to the rescue and he helped everybody out.
And that's the vibe I got. Like, I was just like, yeah, she's got to go. Like, I don't know what's gonna kill her yet. And it was good with this movie because sometimes I like to watch a trailer, just kind of read the description a little. But this one I went in completely blind. So like in the beginning when you're showing like real pigs and stuff, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna watch, but I was like, I hope I don't see pigs being slaughtered at first because I was like, I'm not about that. But then when they started telling the story more, I was like, all right, I appreciate that. The guy in the very beginning that was in the trench coat, I don't know what his name was. He was on the phone with her.
Yeah.
Denny, right?
Yeah, Denny. I liked his character. He had some comedy elements to him, especially when she hung up the phone on him. I was like, that fucking bitch. Like, so I liked his character. I almost wanted a little bit more of his character.
Yeah.
Just whatever you do, don't tell Todd that. Please. Don't tell Todd
Tell him that.
He got a big ego. He'll let it get to his head.
No, he doesn't have an ego at all, but no, he's a great. I love Todd. Me and Todd are like we're like really good friends, and like I said, we joke with each other all the time. Like, who's the worst actor, me or him? And it's hilarious.
I don't know how he feels about chickens now, though.
He loves chickens. Right? He loves eating them now that they were all over his body. So.
Yeah, they threw way too much birdseed on him to have the chickens get closer and stuff. So, yeah, different movie though. But yeah, he did a bang up job as the butcher, I guess supervisor kind of deal, dealing with her attitude and stuff like that. But yeah,
the one part I thought of too, only because it's more recent, but I'd say in the beginning of June, Pennsylvania passed a law where like you can't have your phone, can't hold your phone, can't do anything, basically touch it when you're driving in the car. And then she's holding the phone, talking on it. I'm like, good thing she's not driving in Pennsylvania right now. Like, she'd get pulled over.
That's Jersey too. Rules here too. But at the time that we filmed it, it wasn't a rule. So.
And it might have saved her if she would have got pulled over. That is true. And it might have saved her if she got pulled over and got fined or something instead and got pissed off and not made it to the farm. Could have been a whole different movie.
Ideas for the next one. See, there you go. Giving me ideas.
Oh, man, my brain's always running. None of it will make sense.
Trust me.
If you ever seen that meme where it's like, sorry you couldn't understand the 20 stories I told you in 3 minutes. Like, that's my brain.
Yeah, one of the difficult scenes we had to do, just timing wise, was getting her. Kelsey's a really careful driver, so getting her to like pull out in front of the car and get that feeling of cutting him off.
Hmm.
I was the one driving the black car. Cut off. So I was so mad. Like you would want to call her a bitch for doing that. It was very difficult to do. We shot it like 4 times, I think, and because we were very limited on crew there because we were sort of separated, and
Hmm.
it was near the farm, but it wasn't at the farm. So we had, there was only 4 of us over there trying to shoot that, and trying to like communicate like when I'm gonna go, a countdown for when she could pull out, and getting it all on camera was just it was a chore. It was a little unexpected for what we thought it was just going to go a lot smoother and a lot quicker, and it just turned into a little bit more than we had expected. And I think I was talking to Kelly about it, and she's like, "Oh no, Kelsey's a super careful driver. She does not do that at all. She'll never pull out in front of anybody." And even Kelsey was telling me, she's like, "I don't do this. This is not normal for me. I don't know how to pull out in front of somebody like that." And I was like, "Okay,
But the
fine."
best part of that whole scene is after she pulls out in front of Chris, she's got that big shit-eating grin on her face. I'm like, we couldn't have picked that perfectly.
Yeah, 'cause she's like, "Ooh, I did it. I'm proud of myself."
Originally, I tried to get her to stick her hand out the window and give him the finger when he beeped. But she's like, "No, I can't do that."
But that's, like you said, one of the challenges that you almost wouldn't think of, that was more of a challenge than maybe something you thought would have been a challenge while filming.
Yeah.
But did you at least have luck with the road in reference to not having as many cars?
There was more cars than we had anticipated. It's a backcountry road, so there's never cars out there. But man, it was like the day we were shooting, they all wanted to be out there that day.
He wanted to take a look at what you guys were doing.
Yeah, they're like lights, cameras. Hey, what's going on?
We're incognito out there. You're not going to see us out there. We're
Look,
not.
we film it in a style they call guerrilla.
Gorilla.
We are guerrilla filmmakers. Now you see us, now you don't.
I mean, we had a homeless guy walk up to us while we were out there and ask for a ride. Didn't you give a guy a ride, Ron?
Yeah. He had a flat tire. His car had a flat tire. He's like, "Yo, could you drive me to my buddy's store so I can make a phone call?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" He was trying to get Alex. He was trying to get Alex to do it, and she's like, "I'm like, yeah, no, you're not driving this guy there. I'll take you."
That's how other horror movies start.
Yeah, that would have been a real life horror movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're sitting there trying to film stuff. He just walks out of the bushes. I'm like, where'd this guy come from?
You want to be in a movie?
You said your car had a flat. Where's this car you speak of?
We've had that though. We've had just an absolute stranger roam by and wind up in the movie, signing no release or anything because he just happened to see what was going on.
Skateboard dude.
Skateboard dude.
Yeah, when we were filming that Queens of the Dead, we're like in this secure lot, and it's like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and this guy on a skateboard, all tweaked out, just shows up. He's like, "What's going on?" And there was like a coffee truck there for like us, and he's just like, "I want some coffee," but he's like ordering like, "Well, what does that taste like? What is that?" And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll just join," and just start like walking around with us and stuff. It's like that guy was like over the top. So I guess, yeah, shooting in the woods where you're secluded, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, which is nice.
You think.
Yeah, obviously not, but homeless guy
Jamie
versus
Kennedy
tweaker guy.
I think it's a little scarier when the homeless guy comes out of the woods, though.
Yeah. Well, find a way to incorporate them into the full-length feature or something.
Right?
He can be Hammy's next victim kind of deal. Like I just want a ham sandwich. Oh, I got your ham sandwich kind of thing. So, no, but
How
like I
important
said,
was
I
it?
love the comedy of this movie. Just and the gore, like the shots. I know, like you guys said, go for less kills, make it more realistic. Having it where you got Hammy in front of the guy before he makes a swing to knock his head clean off, kind of thing. I like the cinematography, which I'm still having to. I'm gonna have to learn. So I'm probably gonna be picking your guys' brains when Fee works on her I guess what is it called, a not a test run, but the
Proof of
proof of
concept?
concept. Yeah,
Yeah, proof of concept.
but like
Yeah.
with those types of shots, is it something that you have to like focus, well, not focus, but like do a lot of filmings or a lot of takes on, or is it something that you can kind of get done in a couple of takes just for like a couple of angles and do the rest in editing or in post?
The you're talking about the Fred where he gets his head cut off?
Hmm.
That was that took a little bit of time. We were trying to figure out the best way to do it because we didn't want to hurt Fred.
Hmm.
Like we were swinging an actual blade,
Hmm.
so we didn't want to get too close. So we kept trying to tell him to duck, and every time he would duck, you could see his head in another frame.
Hmm.
So we just had to film him and then film without him
Mm.
full swing, and then we just cut it together.
Okay.
Typically, what we do, we usually run 2 cameras and simultaneously, so makes it a little bit quicker if you're trying to get the cuts between different people talking. That particular scene, we only ran 1 camera, but for almost everything else, we had 2 cameras rolling. This way, we pick up the other angles.
Mhm.
Try and do one and done if we can. Um, but yeah, that was we just pick up the camera, move it into a position we like, and then we start maneuvering it around, going, all right, this angle is better. I like this look. I like how he's coming up front. Just do a
Mhm.
couple quick run throughs, just see what works, and then just move from there. And that, yeah, I think the way he's in the foreground and Fred's in the background, and coming across the screen like he does, and you really get a feeling of the menacing build that he is in that shot, probably
Yeah.
more than any other shot in the movie. And it's I was very happy with the final product on that one.
So when you're doing, so you have the script and everything like that, and you're timing this because they say, you know, every minute of dialogue is basically a page, right? But when it comes to the pages that only have, what's happening, the action of it, not the dialogue, but the action, how do you guys pace that to, one, make sure you're in line for 100 and 40 minutes, well, an hour and 40 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever?
I
How?
mean, we're not used to doing like features yet, but when I base the time levels on is I will get the script and I will do a whole walkthrough as if I'm every character, and I'll try to time it like I'll put a stopwatch on and see, okay, this scene should take 1.5 minutes. This scene should take this. Like I said, originally I was trying to get 30 minutes out of it, but then we wanted it to flow. We didn't want a lot of fluff. Like I said, a lot of people will put fluff in their movie to make it seem longer, but all it's doing is prolonging the agony. So what I told Chris, I said, look, we're just going to cut this. To I don't care how long it is, as long as it's nonstop from beginning to end. Where like I don't want shots of trees, like just 5 seconds of trees or 5 seconds of footprints. I just want all straight up action from beginning to end.
That's the worst when you watch a movie and you feel like you're watching it and there's just put in random stuff in there just to make it like an hour and a half instead of like an hour and 20 minutes, and it's just like unnecessary. Then you watch a movie, you're like, all right, I could have easily cut 15 minutes out of this and it would have been a lot better of a film.
Yep.
If
Yeah,
believe it
like-
or not, I told Mike Levy that with Stream. I said, dude, you're 10 minutes too much in this film.
I can
Well,
see that.
I said the same thing about The Substance when we reviewed that. It's like they could have cut off the second ending, and the movie would have been great. Just right after they got into the fight. So when you guys look at everything, you're looking for your endpoint. How do you determine if you've gone too far past what should have been the endpoint?
I don't know that we do that. Like, generally, the endings are the easiest part because we kind of like, once we get the ending set up, it's like, okay, this is easy. We knew that we were going to do the junior jumping off the fence. We knew we were going to do the barbecue, and what we were just worried about was the head smash. We weren't too like we're not visual effects artists. Luckily for us that we had our friend Kill Josh Petrino, so he kind of like helped us out with that visual effect, and he told us how to capture it the best way we could. That it worked. Other than that, Chris did try to. He did a pretty decent job of editing it up until that point, and then when we tried to do the visual effect, it was good, but he had it blocked in a little too much. Like all you could see was the head, and Josh said, "I'll take care of the rest. Don't worry about it." And I don't have any complaints. Like I said, even Chris did a great job. I would have kept that, but we wanted to look more realistic, so we showed like the whole top part of the body instead of just the head. But for the endings, I mean, the endings are pretty easy. Like we know the endings for all our flickers, so it was like those we don't generally touch those because the endings are the easy part. It's in between that's the difficult part.
Okay.
I mean,
You
it's
agree,
so
Chris?
easy. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's so easy for us as viewers to just watch a movie and like pick it apart, say what we like, what we don't like, but then to like talk to you guys and like hear all the behind the scenes stuff. Like it's stressful and it's hard to get from point A to point B and like make it make sense, make it flow, edit it properly. Like people just take that for granted because there's so many movies out there and most of them flow pretty nice and easily, and that's how this one was. Like for you guys doing this for 6 months, you got a pretty good handle on it already.
Like I said, we just keep getting better. If you see what we're starting to churn out now, everything that we're doing right now is getting so much. We're like editing it is quicker because we know how to line the shots up better. We know how to do the shot list. We're doing better camera work, better at storytelling, where to place the cuts. I think, like I said, for us doing it for a little over a year, it's people think we're seasoned. People like when people see what we do, they're like, "You guys been doing this for like 2 or 3 years, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, no, we've been doing it for like a year," and they're pretty much shocked.
Yeah.
So then with going along with what you just mentioned, so this movie isn't officially out yet. Is it premiering at the film festival in Red Banks? Is that it at Kevin Smith's, or is it premiering before that?
We have a premiere in Middletown, Delaware, July 3rd. It's opening for Return of the Living Dead at the Everett Theater. Tickets are $8. I mean, you can go online and find it, and it's a 450-seat theater. It's old.
That's a nice feel.
It is. It was. What was shot there? Dead Poet Society was shot in that theater.
Okay.
So then
they have a seat in there that's marked off It's Robin Williams' seat from Dead Poets Society. It's it's a really cool theater. That night, July 3rd, Ghostbusters are going to be playing, then Swine and Dine, and then Return of the Living Dead. And like Ron said, the $8 ticket only gets you to Swine and Dine and Return of the Living Dead. But good friend Mark Sorrow, he hooked us up with that. He shared a cool trailer. He did a mashup of Swine and Dine and Return of the Living Dead. If you haven't seen that, that's really cool. And then the next premiere we're going to have after that will be July
27th.
27th is Smodcastle.
It's Smodcastle. That is not a film festival or anything. We're just paying out of pocket to get a bunch of people there and get them a chance, pretty much mostly cast, friends and family, an opportunity to see it at a legitimate movie theater. And we're going to do some other stuff on the screen. Maybe play some of our other stuff we've completed recently. Plenty of behind the scenes stuff that we've got, photos and video from the set, and do a Q&A as well at the theater, because we're booked up for 3 hours, so 21-minute movie is not going to last for 3 hours, so we've got to fill in some space there.
So are cast members going to be there?
Some of the cast will be there, yes. Mark Haynes will be there. Kelsey cannot make it. We're still trying to get Michelle there to see if she can make it. I believe Fred's going to try to make it. Ilson will be there. Robert Todd Kennedy will probably be there. So we're going to have the cast. Some of the crew will be there, I believe. Alex Surface will be there. So yeah, it'll be a great time. Bobby Carroll will be there, the guy who composed the score.
So then, are you gonna? Is the plan to promote this one till the end of the year, and then start a new project? Is it promote this and then start making the sequel or prequel for this? What's
like I said, I've already started writing the feature. I've got it down. I'm on like up to scene 50 right now, and it's probably going to have like 75, 80 scenes. So, like I said, we're probably going to have to cut it. Like what the plans I had for it are like, I'm going to have to start cutting because I'm already up to over 45 minutes worth, and I'm not even close to halfway through it yet. So it's going to be chock full of violence. There'll be at least 10 kills in this. I can guarantee that.
We do have a lot of other projects going on right now, though, so as much promotion as we could do for this, because obviously this is our biggest thing we've done, and then we've got it submitted to a ton of film festivals, trying to get as much traction as we can on that front.
We were nominated for Best Director in Canada this past weekend for the Couch Film Festival.
Nice.
That's an accomplishment. Just be nominated for that.
Trust me, it was shocking when Chris told me. He's like, "You see what we're nominated for?" I'm like, "Yeah, the film." He's like, "No." Like, Best Director. I'm like, "Holy crap! Get out of here!" International Film Festival right off the bat.
And our other short, Subliminal, was nominated for Best Original Story, I believe.
Yeah.
Film Festival. So that was cool to have both of them, nominated at the very least. So for being up and coming indie horror movie makers, that's the dream right there, to be noticed and recognized a little bit.
I mean, we did submit to Cannes and to I don't know if Chris knows this. I just submitted to Sundance. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Spoiler, Chris.
No, I knew that one.
Oh.
I think we all together we've got like between our 3 shorts we've got like 30 festivals lined up. That's what, like I said, we're trying to really pump back up our Indiegogo and try to sell the digital downloads because that's what's paying for these festivals.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, make some of those Pengrove meat packing signs, posters.
There you go, Chris.
Not a problem. We can do that.
I mean, you could add the eye in if you want, or keep it out. I mean, because then it's kind of like how it was in the movie. But those pigs holding that knife, I don't know, just something about it. I was like, this is like when I saw that, I was like, this is what I would buy out of the movie, like this sign right here.
I never even thought about that.
Well, there we go. Looks like we're going to be getting a hold of Mighty poster.
There you go.
11 by 17.
That would be a cool one, like when you do cons and stuff, and like have it at the table. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, because they so when the characters from Nightmare on Elm Street, they had the Elm Street sign that they were signing. A few of them.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. And I know when we go over to Crystal Lake, they still have the signs. We were over there last year.
Yeah.
And everything. So,
Yeah,
Maybe we will do that.
Or at
Like
least
I
just
said,
make
even the post, even our new poster, like the one we just had made, it's people are loving it. Like they're like, oh my god, this is like retro 80s slasher
mhm.
poster right here. I mean,
that
and
one. Yes, that one is very, very solid too.
The reflection in the knife and everything.
And it gives you a little bit of Hammy, but you're still not really sure what he is. Like from that new poster, like it kept me I was curious. Like when I first Googled Swine and Dine, it was like, ooh, what is this? Like, and then you quickly find out what Hammy really is.
I'm sitting here. I've got a 55-inch TV above me here for editing, and that's what's on there. Is Swine and Dine is the backdrop with my wallpaper, and I'm just looking up at it. I'm like, man, that is really cool.
Well, we did use so when we put this interview up and everything on our page, we're going to use that same poster. Fuzzy took the poster and put it into AI. And we didn't get an identical thing, but we got something that is remnant of it. So hopefully you guys like it.
Yeah, I tried to get it more of a graphic novel kind of look, kind of thing. So it has a little bit of that comic book effect, but still, the terror and the horror of like an '80s poster, but in like not really comic book form, but I guess you could say graphic novel form to some extent. You'll see it.
And like I said, that poster, nobody wanted me to buy that get that artwork made because it was Andrew Kern's really good. I mean, he did all the stream posters and the Screenbook posters, so he's been around. He does a lot of work for the Mahoning Drive-In.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's like 40 minutes away from me.
And he wasn't cheap. Like I said, he probably we probably needed a budget just for the poster.
He's affordable, but for indie filmmakers, that's not cheap.
Yeah.
But I'm one that it's like I need, like I said, because I have my short attention span, some of these to catch my eye. And that's definitely a poster that would catch my eye. Like there's unfortunately probably a lot of good movies or other stuff I just kind of skip over just because the cover alone, I'm just like, I don't want to mess with that. Where this is definitely had me intrigued, I guess I would say.
Yeah, that's the best money I spent. I can tell you that now. After the final product came out, I'm like, you see, we could probably win awards for this for posters.
Yeah, I mean, that is a badass poster also.
Yeah. No, but with this being kind of like an interview as well as movie review, or do we want to do our thoughts as far as like our rating, or
Please,
No,
we would love to hear that. I'm dying for some honesty here.
all right, Fuzzy, you go first.
okay. Well, I'm not the biggest stickler unless I have to start yelling at the screen because characters are doing something stupid, or if it doesn't catch my attention and I wind up having to take a nap. Those are the times where I can definitely be maybe a little overcritical, but I love the comedy aspect or some of the comedic moments. Even though yes, it is a slasher, horror film, I still like some of those like break the moment, or not break the moment, but break the ice kind of moments in those. I give it a solid 8. It's entertaining. It's quick and to the point as far as the story. Yes, it won't you leave wanting more as far as maybe some of the backstory of Hammy, which it sounds like we're going to get that, maybe in a year or so as far as with a full feature. But for the time that this movie plays, it is completely entertaining. You wind up hating some of the victims, or at least one particular victim, which you guys nailed it as far as giving her that B energy. I'm not saying the word right now, but yeah, it definitely you sold the character sold it as far as how you would expect real people to act and respond, and being in this weird situation of winding up on a farm, although we're still rooting for who should be the villain, but is, like you said, more of like the anti-hero kind of deal. I enjoyed myself. The only critique is want more, and hopefully we see Swine and Dine 2 or Swine and Dine full featured in a year or two. How about you, Fee?
Presto.
Oh, Preston.
Me?
Presto.
I agree a lot with Fuzzy, actually. I went in this with no expectations, so I didn't know what to expect. And after watching it, like I said, the 20-some minutes flew by. After this interview, finding out that you both are fairly new in movies and everything, it was like, I respect you guys a lot more, because it's like, wow, like that was quality work. Yeah, people have been in it a lot longer and not producing stuff of that quality, I guess, to be nice about it, you could say. um, but yeah, I'm very interested to find out more about Hammy, find out about how Hammy became that way. Did was he human? Did testing go wrong, or did he work there and get an acid? I don't know, but I'm interested to hear how he got that way. Was he always violent? Did he become violent? Like, there's so many routes you guys could go with this movie, and I love it. And I feel like it felt complete as a short, where if it was just done one off, I'm satisfied. But the fact also is there's enough left open that you have a lot of creative freedom you could do. So I really enjoyed this movie. This short, I guess you could say. I'd give it like a 7.7. I'm excited to check out some of your other stuff now. Even your first one, the Convention Massacre, or whatever it was called.
Monster Con Massacre, don't go into it expecting that. Whatever, if you're expecting what you just saw, it's not.
Well, I guess that might be good or bad, because then I can see like where you first came from, and now I'm like, holy shit, like this is night and day.
Yeah,
That's more of a comedy.
I mean, it's enjoyable. It's definitely slapstick. Like we started out as a horror, and then once we're like, oh, this is like we can't produce this as a horror picture. We just started doing everything that was like the opposite of horror, and it came out so hilarious. And if you're a con goer, it's like an ode to the horror convention.
Well, that's why I think I'm more interested in watching it, because I go to lots of cons, and I think you said someone was filmed at Monster Mania.
Yes.
So like
everything was filmed at Monster Mania.
Yeah, to like recognize a lot of it, like, oh yeah, that's that room, that's that. Like, I think I'll appreciate it more than other people might. But with this movie, I like the comedy in there. Sometimes comedy could feel forced, or sometimes it could feel like they make a joke, but it's really not funny. And then you kind of feel bad for the writer because you're like, ooh, that was very cringeworthy. Like, I wonder how the actresses felt trying to deliver that line. For instance, the scary movies, those do not age well at all. Like, I tried to rewatch one recently and I was just like, oh my God, like, this is so painful. I'm embarrassed for everyone involved in this franchise, where I didn't get that at all. Like, you weren't forced into comedy. Some of it came natural, some of it was written. But yeah, I definitely suggest checking this out. And like I said, I'm going to give it another watch to see if I pick up anything now that we know so much more about the movie.
So, yeah, I'm in line with everybody else. So when I first watched it, I watched the rough cut. So yeah, I heard some of the stuff. Yes, heard some of the stuff in the background. But when I watched it a second time, there were more details in it. There were I didn't catch the beginning part when it first opened up. I saw the pig, but I didn't catch, I guess, the news guy or influencer, or whatever you want to call him, talking about don't go over to Freedom Farm and stuff like that. But that made a little bit more sense than what I had originally watched. So yeah, I get to see two versions of it, and I definitely like the additions that you put in. But yeah, I would say again, I would say it's about an 8.5 for me. Because not because I know I've worked with you guys before. Not Chris, but I've worked with Ron before, and I've worked with Kelsey before and everything. So I've seen you in other things and everything, but this one I got to see the depths of where you were trying to go. You weren't just trying to put death scenes up there. You were trying to make this a short version of a feature-length film and just cut out all of the fluff and everything like that, which, is great because sometimes you don't want to watch a full-length film, with a lot of, having to, fast forward and get rid of, okay, I don't need to see 5 minutes of an open field type situation. So I think it was not just a good start for a, feature length. I think, like Presto said, it stands on its own. Can we see more? Absolutely. You could do a prequel. You could go from where Junior comes out. I mean, there's a lot of different things. You could actually make this a couple of films, depending on where you want to start with the next one. So yeah, I think, we're solid 8.5. I haven't seen your first thing, but I've seen some first attempts from other people and they were good. So I don't think this is I wouldn't say a drastic difference. I think your first one is probably a little better than you guys want to admit. But I'll take a look at it. So yeah. So
we're filmmakers. We're filmmakers fit by, so we criticize everything we do ourselves. We don't need somebody else to say, "Oh, this is crap." We got that already covered.
Well, yeah, and I'm in there with you guys as well. I like being behind the camera. I know Chris has acted in a couple things, done little kind of small roles and stuff, and I think he's probably along more with me. And being behind the camera is just better for us. Because I've done acting roles, and I think I have way too much anxiety afterwards. And I
Trust me, the more you do it, the better it gets. Trust me, I'd be up on the screen going, now just put me in a scene and just let me go. Like, Go ahead, wing it. And I'll be like, hey guys, what the fuck's going on? How's everything going?
Yeah, but yeah, this is definitely solid. I think the fact that we didn't see more of what we wanted to see. I think that's why we're sitting at like, an 8, 8.5 and stuff. Knowing that, I think we're going to have higher scores for your feature length. Am I right, guys?
As long as they
Yeah,
killed
more
it like
likely.
this one.
Thank you.
We only know how to do movies one way, our way, and that's what you see is what you get.
I say it's working.
But like I said, I try when I write something, I try to pack as much action and violence into every scene that I can. And Chris will even tell you my dialogue is a little heavy at times, but some of it is needed. Some of it's not. Like we can cut a lot of dialogue out, but we keep the meat and potatoes of it. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah.
And you can expect a lot of kills in the feature. I'm already looking at 10, so it could be more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading the one, I believe it's your anthology, the first one in the anthology and stuff like that.
Right.
And I can just imagine, while I was reading it, I can imagine, okay, well, we probably don't need that word. And I'm just, thinking as soon as that dialogue is said, immediately you're going to know what to add and what to cut. And dialogue is, I think, one of the hardest things to put on paper in the beginning. But after people read it, it's just obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but the action stuff, yeah, that's where the creativity really comes into, because you don't really know what it's going to look like. You think it's going to look like what it looks like on the paper, but am I right? It doesn't always look that way. Sometimes, other people show you a different way, and it sounds like that's how it was in this. And I think that's the best part of having all of those people that you've worked with previously, having that comfort level when they come back and do a second and a third feature with you, because they know how you work and they know what you expect of them, and they've already delivered it from the first time or first couple of times, and you guys have that trust level, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I'm just happy they told me I could push you in the meat grinder in their sequel. So that's you're done, Fee.
This is my little brother, by the way, guys. He's always plotting against me.
If the opportunity arises, I mean, I'm not gonna pass it up. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, on Queens of the Dead, he just took Fuzzy and left.
We just had to be faster than you. All right, that's all we had to do.
Yeah.
We survived. You didn't.
That's kind of hard not to do. So anyway, so we want to do some outros.
Sure.
All right, Fuzzy, go first.
Oh, I gotta do. Oh, me do my outro first.
Yeah, yours is longer.
No,
I'll just do mine. Mine's always short.
Yeah, Presto. Yeah, you can go ahead, Presto.
I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot tonight. I want to thank them for both being on, taking the time out. Everyone go check out the movie, whether it's at the movie theater or when it becomes available to stream. Like, definitely recommend it. Yeah, not much more going on with me this week. Just trying to finish the work week and stay out of the heat. So there's that. And yeah, thanks for stopping by whenever we decide to release this episode for people to listen to. And then Fuzz.
It'll be up very soon.
Okay. And then Fuzz could just put all of our like Instagrams and stuff for everyone in the comments, so people want to follow us or follow Ron and Chris, they can also, and check more out. Do you guys have an official Swine and Dine Instagram or Facebook page yet, or no?
Just for Black Hat Films.
Okay.
We have a website for Black Hat Films. All our socials are on that. And then Black Hat Films has a Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, pretty much all of them. We're on all of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, when we do we're gonna release a Blu-ray, an Indiegogo Blu-ray, and we're gonna have director's commentary through the whole film. So you'll hear everything that happened during that scene. I look forward to doing that.
Nice. All right, I'll just make my outro quick. Greatly appreciate your guys' time in sitting with us and doing this interview. And congrats on this is your third film, correct? Or third Black Avenue film, correct? Or is this
MonsterCon Massacre was our first.
And then we've done the Flickers.
Couple episodes of
Okay.
Flickers, but they're like 3 to 5 minutes long, and then this was our next biggest project, anything plus 10 minutes. So yeah, this would be our second.
Well, greatly appreciate you guys being on here, and congrats on the completion of this project, and hopefully it leads to many more either sequels or full feature length projects down the road. Definitely want to see more of Hammy and the story and see what creative kills that you guys are going to throw at us as well. Now, as far as for me, I'm always doing video game stuff. So the people that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related can follow me on social media. They only have to do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere and they'll be able to find me. But as far as for Swine and Dine, I encourage everyone that follows me, check this movie out. Go to Indiegogo or go to Black Ave's website to find out where it may be premiering and where you can get the digital downloads. It's definitely worth checking this movie out. For 23 minutes, it'll be the best 23 minutes you can invest on a Friday or Saturday night. Kick back, have some fun. May not be able to get through the whole bag of popcorn, but it'll definitely be a cool, entertaining, short flick. Some nice comedy to it, and some nice, some nice gore. Even though it's not as gory as many might like, but yeah, it was right on point. And Fee, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, can you check out Private for me before I do that? Yeah, so of course I'm on Instagram, Blue Sky. I don't get much love on Blue Sky, guys. What's up with that? I'm still on X. We call it Twitter though. And I just updated my Facebook, so with my actual name. So if you put in Fiona C. Johnson, you should get me now. So I'm going to put up the information on YouTube in the little description box. I also have on my Facebook, I already put up, I didn't put up the July 3rd one, but I definitely put up the link to the July 27th for Swine and Dine. So yes, there are tickets still available. I will also put something on Instagram for you guys in reference to that. But Fuzzy, did you check out Private for me?
Yeah, I got it. Okay,
is that good?
Yeah, this is what we would put into the description.
Okay, so I'm gonna start putting those in. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to the July 3rd one. That depends on Fuzzy if he wants to go or not. We're gonna put it on Fuzzy, but we will definitely be at the Hunt Chase Kill. Are you guys gonna be at Hunt Chase Kill 2 on July 6th?
I'm gonna try to make it. Chris probably will not.
No.
Okay.
Sadly, I will not make it to that. I haven't seen it yet, and I really want to see it, but I've got a family event going on that day, so it's really hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
I know how that is.
Fuzzy, real quick, I'm not able to put in comments for some odd reason. Can you put anything?
Remember, this is recorded.
Okay.
You'll have that on when it's live on YouTube.
Oh, fine. I'll put him in the comments on YouTube. He's my tech
Quick
guy.
thing,
If you haven't noticed.
if you get a chance to check out, there's an article in the Indie Horror Junkie from June, the Friday the 13th version. It's all based on pretty much just Swine and Dine, but they're a little bit on Black Ave films as well. It was a really good article.
That's a magazine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got 1 or 2 issues already at Scare Pros.
Yep.
If you ever heard of Scare Pros.
Yep. We've been there.
Good place. Chris is an awesome guy, the owner.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the prices are great. He's a super friendly guy. All the little like mini appearances he gets, it's awesome. I mean, just thinking about it now, I'm like, oh man, like you guys could probably even set up something there where like you do a little sign-in or something with some of the cast if it's possible. Like,
if he wants nobody to show up, we can definitely do that.
I'm sure I know one guy that would love to be there signing stuff. Mark Haynes.
Yep.
Well, there you go. I'd probably show up for
that. Maybe once we had the Blu-rays out, we could take a stack there and set something up. Cool.
So are you going to be selling them at the premiere?
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have them done by then, but yes.
The July 27th. We will not have them ready for the July 3rd one.
Okay. You're not going to make me sign anything, are you?
What?
No.
Yeah.
The first thing I ever actually signed, and I have the weirdest signature. So the first thing I've ever signed as a creative artist, as you can say, was your poster. That was the first thing.
It's a shame.
And we're honored to have your autograph on it.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is the weirdest one.
I'll just take some alcohol and get.
So, besides July 3rd and July 27th, what are you guys doing outside of that?
We have another. It's going to be screening at CreepyCon in Knoxville, Tennessee, on August 1st. Other than that, we're still trying to figure out. Like I said, I wish it was cheap. I wish it was cheaper to put this in a movie theater, but they kind of they're trying to like it's hard to put an independent film or rent a theater out unless it's a real tiny theater.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still looking around. I'm looking at I'm getting a hold of Tammy from Delco Horror Haven, and she's gave us a couple little theaters we should try. So,
but I think they're supposed to be screening it at Delco Horror Haven, right?
It will be screening at Delco Horror Haven, but that's not until like November or September, something like that.
Awesome.
What do we got coming up, Ron? Anything good in the next month?
CreepyCon
in August.
CreepyCon in August. We're going to shoot Alton Simpson's Vampires in New Jersey sometime in August. I'm positive. Other than that, we're still working on our own stuff, and I've got like we got to go back for Crimson Harvest in the middle of September, and then comes the Rainbow at the end of September, and then I've got the Desperate in October.
Yeah, so Xander just reached out to me in reference to that, but he doesn't have any dates. Did he give you guys any dates?
No.
Okay. What about so we're gonna do something different for Along Came a Rainbow. So do you remember the dates for that one? Did she give you any dates?
He did not. She's just said it's probably be like the last week of September.
Because that's when HorrorCon is as well.
What, New Jersey HorrorCon?
Yeah. That's the
Well, I'm sure we'll get everything figured out.
yeah.
I mean, between Xander, Diane, and everything else, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to see it on that what was it the vampire one? What's it called again?
Vampires in New Jersey?
Yeah, I wanted to get in on that, but again I couldn't find the campaign when it was out. Indiegogo has to do something about
I'm trying to talk Alton into launching another one
that. Mhm.
because that one was kind of lackluster. I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to teach him how to run an Indiegogo campaign. It's hard right now. Nobody wants to spend money, and I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. I think the biggest problem is that we're just not hearing about the ones that um are actually being made. I mean, I see tons of them that have been up for a while that it's like been 2 years and they're still haven't
Yeah,
shot
exactly.
anything.
Which I can't stand that. That's why when me and Chris do something, we like if we say we're going to do something, we get it in, we get it shot, we get it out.
Yeah.
Because I can't. There's no sense in dragging something out. Like, oh yeah, we're going to film this year, and then we're going to film this year, and then like 2 years later, you're like, I gave you my money two years ago, and you still haven't even went into production yet. It's aggravating.
Yeah. So
Almost all of our perks are out to whoever bought them.
yeah.
Almost every single one is out in their hands by now.
The teeth.
Teeth are still not where you didn't ship them. You gotta ship them, Ron.
Oh, I see how it goes.
I shipped the last batch of stuff. You're up.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my new nightmare. T-Rex. So that's gonna be blessed when I get that. But yeah, so you guys so I'm gonna do something in April, so you guys gotta keep that free.
Oh, trust me. I mean, if you're doing it next year, we have nothing yet
Okay.
booked except for Indie Horror Junkie. We're
Mhm.
going to go to the festival down in Orlando for MegaCon, and that's where
Mhm.
they're going to screen Swine and Dine for Indie Horror Junkie Festival.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to go to Vegas Days of the Dead
Mhm.
in January. Other than that, we're pretty much free right now.
Okay. Okay. So we're good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you guys coming out. Sorry about last week. I don't know what happened to my computer. My computer's still glitching in weird ways. But I did get a backup. I do have a backup, so that worked out. We just hadn't had it set up, yet where I could sign on and stuff. But really appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you guys were happy with our rating.
I enjoyed myself. It was great. I can't believe we were on here for over 2 hours.
Yes, I didn't realize that either.
Lot to
But we were having fun, so that's the whole idea to this. So but again, I will put the links up. I will make sure that everybody knows where they can get tickets and stuff like that. I'll put the Indie Horror Junkie thing up. I found their Facebook, so that will help as well. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Anything
You got
else?
it, Fi.
No, just it was fun, and I look forward to meeting them at Monster Mania or New Jersey HorrorCon or something.
Well, I think you're going to be meeting Ron over at Crimson Harvest because you're going to be coming over there, right?
Yeah, but that's in September. Like
Well, yeah.
August
Yeah,
is Monster Mania.
there's Monster Mania in August.
We'll see you. We'll look for you there. We'll
Yeah,
look up at Monster Mania.
You can't miss us. We'll be wearing Black Ave shirts.
Yeah.
all right. I think I'm gonna be there Friday.
Yeah.
I think Saturday something's going on. I think I got like Lincoln Park or something Saturday down in Philly.
Cool.
Well, we can't get rid of
We're
Lincoln
there
Park.
from Thursday to Sunday, so you'll find us.
For sure.
All right. Well, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to end the recording, but bye, everybody.
I
Bye.